After 50, no matter how much savings you have, avoid these three foolish things to prevent falling into the abyss. In Dream of the Red Chamber, there's a couplet. Startled awake countless people. Behind them, arrogance shrinks. Before them, no way to turn back. In one's life, often one will experience such moments. Only when one's resources are exhausted does one think to stop early. Only when one is at a dead end does one suddenly realize the shore is behind. Some rotten people, no matter how close you are, you can't see their true face clearly. Only after you've suffered a loss will you know how much true sincerity you've wasted. Some deep pits, even if others advise you 100 times, you don't listen. Only after you stumble will you understand the foolish things you've done. It's only after half a lifetime that one understands. The mark of maturity isn't about managing others well, but about managing oneself well. After 50, no matter how much savings you have, avoid these three foolish things to prevent falling into the abyss. First, do not deplete your kindness. Have a bottom line in dealing with the world. Online, there's a question. Why do we always lose to human nature? There's a highly upvoted answer that hits the nail on the head. The answer is actually very simple. Just 3 words. I thought that giving others wholehearted sincerity, naturally, would also earn wholehearted sincerity in return. It's only when you reach a certain age that you realize some people not only take away your wholehearted sincerity, but also demand more without giving you anything in return. I thought that using endless kindness to treat those around me one day would also bring more kindness in return. It's only when you reach a certain age that you understand. If kindness is without boundaries, in the end, it will become one-sided giving, feeding wolves with kindness, and chilling human hearts. I thought that, as long as I kept swallowing my pride, I could maintain a relationship. It's only when you reach a certain age that you understand. Blindly compromising will only tilt the balance of the relationship. Over time, it will eventually crush you. Yu Minhong once mentioned a past event. More than 20 years ago, he was robbed twice, not only losing a large amount of property, but also nearly losing his life. Most people would have significant psychological trauma after such an experience. But between his 2 nightmares, only a year had passed. It wasn't until 6 years later that he figured out why he had encountered such misfortune. It turned out that, due to a course requirement, Yu Minhong had rented a resort, prepaying 200,000 yuan. After the course ended, the resort needed to refund 30,000 yuan, but the prepayment had already been squandered by the resort owner. Unable to produce any money for a refund, the owner anxiously went to Yu Minhong to plead. Yu Minhong pitied him and casually said it was fine if he couldn't pay back the money. It was precisely this sentence that made the resort owner realize Yu Minhong not only had money, but also had a kind heart. Thus, a sinister idea was born in his mind, and he began planning the robbery. Many years later, recalling this incident, Yu Minhong suddenly realized, I was too good to him. So whenever he wanted to commit a crime, he would come to me. Being too good to someone is actually being too harsh on oneself. If you don't take kindness seriously, in The Devotion of Suspect X, Higashino Kigo spoke of a very cruel reality. Some people's hatred has no reason. They are mediocre, talentless, and idle. So your excellence, talent, kindness, and happiness are all original sins. Sincerity is very precious. Given to the right person, it is priceless. Given to the wrong person, it is worthless. Kindness itself is free, but never cheap. Kindness without boundaries will only consume oneself step by step. Please remember never to sacrifice yourself for the warmth of others by putting yourself in the fire. After middle age, When it's time to turn against each other, do it early. Don't be too soft-hearted when it's time to refuse. Dealing with things should have a bottom line, so as to meet continuous beauty. Secondly, do not waste your spirit. Too much idleness quickly ruins a person. Writer Li Shanglong once mentioned, living the same day over and over again is the fastest way to waste a person, especially in this era of artificial intelligence, where artificial intelligence is not scary, but it is scary when people become more like artificial intelligence. A person lives a lifetime. The most feared is not being busy, but being idle. Once idle, it is easy to be distracted and confused, increasing all kinds of distractions, and the spiritual world will become barren. Inner spirit will become increasingly impoverished. Idle every day, idle every month, idle every year. It's not far from waste. As Einstein once said, I never regard ease and joy as the purpose of life itself. This ethical foundation, I call it Julian's ideal. Often, people complain that middle-age crises come unexpectedly, but in fact, before it arrives, you had countless opportunities to avoid it, but perhaps because you chose comfort, you gave it a chance. On January 27, 2023, translator Yang Yi passed away. At the age of 103, throughout his life, he experienced countless ups and downs, encountering too many hardships, but he never stopped, making life the most exciting. After talking with him, some people admired his agile thinking and strong memory, full of vitality amidst the misty rain. He didn't seem like a person over 100 years old at all, and this state originated from his decades of consistent busy habits. In his 90s, he still read late into the night every night. Even when hospitalized for a fracture, he wouldn't let himself idle. Shortly after surgery, he spread out his manuscript on the hospital bed. By the time he was discharged, he had completed the manuscript, a testament to his unwavering spirit. His daughter recalled her mother, who read the newspaper every morning without fail. He liked to know various social news. In his later years, he began to take an interest in finance, continually learning new things. Although he was older, whenever someone visited him, he would dress himself carefully, apply makeup, and greet guests in the best condition. Perhaps this is the most superior way of living, using busyness to enrich one's soul and fulfill one's inner world. I really like the words of Ishihara Yoshio. After aging, as I look back on my life, seeing that I have spent my entire life capturing the unique beauty of the world, I believe I will be satisfied. It's worth living, busy with many meaningful things. Wasting time and stealing leisure will one day become life's bitterness. Instead of idling, exhausting one's spirit, it's better to get busy and seek the beauty of life. Take action, exercise. You will gain a healthy body. Pick up a book and read. You will gain a rich soul. Travel far away. You will gain a broad perspective. The best state in life is being busy with value, enjoying pleasure day and night. Thirdly, do not overdraw your luck. Cultivate good virtues. In the classic drama The Smiling, Proud Wanderer, there's a profound story. Bai Zhantong was obsessed with gambling, lost all his possessions. At the end of the gambling, the old predecessor, Xin Yuan, told him, gambling is just gambling. There is no big or small, because those who win still want to win, and those who lose want to make a comeback. Once the gambling spirit arises, you will disregard everything. Once you're at the gambling table, no matter your gambling skills or your wealth, until you play away everything, don't expect to stop. So long-term gambling will always lose. I didn't understand the meaning before, but as I grew older, I realized, once luck is overdrawn, the remaining path is full of pitfalls. If you always want to speculate and take shortcuts, coveting sudden wealth, using false prosperity to satisfy your desires, eventually desires will devour you. After all, no matter how much good luck a person has, there will always come a day when it runs out. There are 2 fruit shops near my home. When one of them first opened, it attracted many customers because of its discounts. During that time, people living nearby flocked to buy fruit there. But over time, that shop's business became increasingly quiet. Even when selling at a discount, there were few buyers. During a chat with neighbors, someone joked about whether it was a feng shui problem. The neighbor shook his head, saying it's self-inflicted and doomed. If a person ruins their reputation, even good feng shui can't save them. Turns out, the owner of this fruit shop often used the excuse of rounding up the weight. Before weighing, add more fruit to the bag, taking advantage when no one was paying attention to slip in rotten fruit. Sometimes, the weight measured would also be inaccurate. He thought himself clever, thinking no one noticed, but unknowingly, he had lost people's trust. Originally, his shop was located in a better geographical location, but later, neighbors preferred to walk a bit farther to buy fruit from another shop. An asterisk by Lu Yuan asterisk by Joshua once said, I am deeply impressed by a passage. The way people act is not about whether others know or not, but whether they know it themselves. Doing good deeds at home is engraved in one's heart. Doing foolish things is also engraved in one's heart. Both cannot be erased. Actually, heaven knows, earth knows too. Written in heaven, engraved on earth, cannot be erased. Walking in the world, the wisest way of handling things is not being scheming, but having profound virtues. Walking through life's journey, the highest realm of handling things is not about calculating everything, but about having a clear conscience. In the second half of life, don't overdraw your luck anymore. Cultivate your virtues well, and good luck will naturally come in its own way. In the spa therapy class written by German writer Hesse, I still have many twists and turns to go through, and will also be disappointed in many satisfactions. Everything must wait until the future to show its meaning. When you've walked through the twists and turns, you won't act blindly anymore. When you understand impermanence, you won't be ostentatious anymore. Subscribe to our channel. I wish you a happy life here.